All right, I think we are live. I
Yay.
think we're
Hi,
live.
everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Let's go. Hello, hello.
Okay,
Oh
I'll
my
start.
gosh, okay. If you're tuning in from Facebook, I have my phone here so I can just kind of keep track, but let me know when you've popped on. I'm super excited, you guys. If you're coming from another page, my name is Sylvia, but I am super excited to just do this live with you ladies today because I don't know, like Heather said, dream team when she hopped on. Um, and that's exactly what I felt the first time that I hopped on a Zoom with you ladies. I was just like, oh my gosh. I mean, I have goosebumps right now. You can't see them, but it's like there was just that feeling of I felt like I had been in such a dark hole for like quite some time, you know, just trying to figure out like what am I doing? What is my next move? And nothing seemed to stick. Nothing. It was like I just kept throwing spaghetti at a wall, and and nothing was like giving me that feeling, you know. And I'm very much into my intuition, and so um, that's what I lead with. It's like I know in my gut when something is right. I know in my gut when something is just not right for me, and I had just kind of surrendered to God, and I was just like, okay, I guess I'm just going to be in a waiting pattern. I don't know for how long, but I'm okay with that because ultimately I just want to do what you want me to do and I want to go where you want me to go. And I'm just going to trust in that process. And so, you know, reluctantly, after my good friend Teddy was like, hey, hop on this, you know, Zoom, I'm like, no, I'm not interested. I'm good. And then something just was like, just get on the Zoom and look at it, you know. And when I did, and I saw your guys' beautiful faces on there, I was immediately like, get me connected with the top people that are doing this launch because I want to talk to them. And once we all hopped on a Zoom, like Brenda, Jen, Heather, I was just literally like, I just knew. I just knew in my spirit that this was something that I needed to listen. I needed to pay attention. I needed to, you know, not just be like, take it with a grain of salt, but like this was something special because I could feel it. And so, what I really am hoping to convey to my audience today is how special this is, how unique this is, and let them see for themselves like the partnership of combined 52 years experience in the industry, you know, 4 7-figure earners, multi 7-figure earners in the industry, and yet we're not the only ones who are 7-figure earners coming over here. So I think that that's just something that's so incredibly powerful, that speaks volumes when there's so many people in alignment. Because I think, you know, they always say success loves speed, but I believe that don't hate you. We are in our 20s, okay? What are you talking about?
Right.
But success also loves alignment. I truly believe that, you know, because like you could take off with something and feel completely unaligned in your spirit with it, and even though money could be rolling in and things could be looking good, eventually it's going to hit that point where you're just unhappy, where you're just literally like, okay, I'm making phenomenal amount of money, but I'm unhappy. I'm unhappy because my spirit is unaligned. And so um you know, I just think that alignment really goes into play with what's happening here, and kind of this powerful force that's like driving this movement, as I like to call it, because I don't think that it's just a launch. I think it's a movement of people who are like, okay, you know, um, I'm looking for my spirit to be set free. I'm looking to have fun. I'm looking to help other people be able to, you know, afford dream trips that they would never have been able to afford. Who doesn't want to do that? Because travel literally sets your soul on fire. Travel reminds us that we're all human. We're all human. We're not race, we're not color. We're human beings who are doing the best that we can in every situation, you know? And that's one thing that particularly I love. Like I've been traveling for quite some time. I mean, gosh, I think I just remembered the other day my daughter, first mission trip I ever went on, my daughter was 2 and she's going to be 17, and I went to Brazil, and it was like the most eye-opening experience I've ever had in my life. And I left there completely unchanged because it was like, wow, we in America, and I was born in Canada, so Canada, we have it so good, and um, not everybody has it that good, right? And so I left that trip with this desire to help as many people as I could, like change their lives. And I didn't know how I was going to do that. And it wasn't until probably 6 years later that I had gotten introduced to the network marketing world and had this big dream and goal to be able to, retire my ex-husband, which came to pass. I was able to do that through this industry. And so I would just love for each of you to take a minute or couple minutes, obviously, but just share, like, what was it that you saw? Maybe a little bit of your history in the industry or backstory or whatever you want to share about that. But like, what was it? Because obviously, this had to be something special for each of you. You guys are badasses in your own right. For each of you to look and say, like, this is what I want to do. So, um, whoever wants to get started first, like, I love you guys. I can't wait for everybody to hear from you.
I like going first. I'll go first.
Get it, girl.
Well, there was something that stood out to me that you said that, and you're talking about alignment. So, I made a huge move at the top of my game at another space I was in. And it wasn't easy. And I thought about it for a good year, at least. Um, it, it really speaks to me when you talk about this because I like nice things. I like money and to be able to travel around the world, like you need some money, you know what I mean? Which is so great because we literally travel and make money. That's what we do. But it wasn't my passion. I wasn't able to help the people that I needed to help. And I left. I literally just said, I don't care what's next. We're leaving. That's it. So I did that, and I might have had a little wobble in between, but it brought me here. And I met all of you. And I made a post the minute we had that call that you were talking about that you got on. I think we were on the call for about 2 hours. And I made a post, like, it felt like 5 minutes went by, which probably will be like this Zoom, okay, if anybody's watching. Felt like 5 minutes went by, and we were just kind of saying the same things. We were just validating our feelings and our calling and the way that we've been brought to this. And that's exactly why I'm here. One, two, you know, being able to move about the earth how you want to, being free, feeling like, you have the freedom to not only work online in a space where it's digital, but also be able to do it from anywhere and not have a million other things tied to it. Like I got to sell this in order to, and then go on a trip. It's no, we're on the trips. This is what we're doing. Even, my cousin is on a staycation. She booked it through the app. It's everywhere. It's the movement that we're already doing. It's living. And we're, in my opinion, we're literally getting paid to live
I was just going to say
exactly
that.
the way we want to live, right? And people sometimes look at me, and I don't know if, after this live, you might go to my page and see like, oh, who's Sylvia working with? Who's this girl? Whatever. I've been in the industry for like 15 years. I built to the top of a couple of companies. I was a makeup artist my entire life. I love products. I'm a product junkie, but you might go to my page and see I am in a different place every week. I'm always on a plane. I'm always in the Sky Lounge. I'm always like hanging out with my friends. I'm always in a bikini. I'm always like, and they're like, why and how? And I'm like, this could be, I was thinking about this today, thinking about my life 15 years ago, right? And I was married then, and I was at home with the kids and all this stuff. It took a long time for me to realize, like, I just kind of did it. Like anybody can live exactly like that. And I feel like it's our mission, our movement to make people move without my dog screaming in the background. so that, sorry. Anyway, it's our mission to make people move into that life. And it's not as hard as it looks. I'm going to mute now. One of you can take over because it's not stopping.
Well, I'll go next. It is, Sylvia, what an honor to be with you, Brenda and Heather, like powerhouses in this space. So I'm humbled and honored to be here. It's for those of you guys who are new to me, my name is Jen Perga. I've been in this space about 14 years. I've been to the top of a couple companies as well. And really what drove me has always been freedom and giving moms option. Brenda and I did a live yesterday, and it really, I cried often last night because I was like, my mission on the earth is to make it so people are not stuck in situations where they have to stay when they don't want to. And I grew up with a single mom, and my parents got divorced early on, and I watched her fight to do a job so that we could have a life, but we never traveled anywhere. And so when I got into this space 14 years ago, I was like, you mean we get to go on trips? You know what I mean? Like, and that was like the first part of the space, but I was always the top leader on the trip and not being able to take my kids. So today, fast forward 14 years later now and we've been launching for about, 8.5 weeks or something like that. But my kids this morning were like, well, you have the best life, Mom. Like, you live and you get to try. And I was like, what? But it's just so funny, the perception. But I'm like, actually, I love that they now see that we are at the pool. Our job is to go live our life, and that inspires them to live to their fullest. And now my kids are dreaming again. So, how I found this was Heather contacted me. We had worked together in a previous travel company, and it didn't work out. And it was a startup. And, as startups do, you get your heart broken. You want it to go again. And to be honest, I didn't really believe in myself again to think, could I do it? I launched my own leadership and coaching company along the way. But when she contacted me, I had written myself a check for a couple $1 million for the year. And I was like, okay, I just trust that it's coming, and it's wherever it's coming from. And then I laid that surrender out there. So when we all four met, and I get tears when you're in alignment for whatever reason. So when we're all on, it makes me tear up because it's in alignment that we find our greatest gifts and can contribute at the highest level. So the four of us doing this is we're getting to contribute to other people being at the highest level of what they want to do through travel and life experiences. So I'm eternally grateful to Heather for the phone call that came in at 11:11. And then we flew to Spain to actually evaluate the company because we're like, all right, we know that launching North America is not just like, oh, would you like to launch a country? It's like a massive undertaking. And so it was a lot of thought and would we want to work this hard? But yes, it's absolutely been worth it. And we're so excited to do it. So glad to be here.
I love it. Brenda, my girl.
Hello, everybody. So I am so honored to sit. I'm looking at the lineup and I'm like, how am I here with these incredible, incredible humans, you guys? It's just such an honor. So if you don't know me, my name is Brenda Geiger. I've been in this space a little bit over 10 years. I have always had other multiple streams. So, a couple months ago, I was doing high ticket. I was really focused on lead generation, automation. It was just kind of like this. Not that I lost my passion, but just kind of on autopilot. I didn't need per se another stream of income because I have already built income streams, and that's the power of residual income. So, I was going through, and I'll keep it as short as possible, a very, very difficult time, a very traumatic time of my life, probably the most traumatic I've had in a really long time. And my dad was very ill. So I was in the hospital for days, and he was in there for 18 days. And when you're faced with trauma, your mind starts to just play tricks on you. You start to reflect on, your parents' life, your life. And I'm just like in this weird space. The energy is very heavy for me. I just feel the energy around me. And it was just such a sad energy. It was heavy. I'm contemplating, okay, I'm 40, I'm going to be 44. Have I done everything that I wanted to do? What if something like this happens? Just wild. So I get on social media and just to escape a little bit from what I was feeling, and I came across Jen's post. Now I had seen Nikki post some things too, and I'm like, what are these girls doing? Where are they going? Like, I wish I was there right now. So I kind of looked in and I messaged her and I was like, hey, what are you doing now? Jen has been out of the industry. So if she is going to take a look at something, I know better to pay attention. So when I first looked, I was like, I'm not down to be a travel agent. I love my freedom. That is the one thing that I can say is I have very strong standards and boundaries with my time. So if I'm going to put my time into something, it has to be worth it. I'm not interested in booking anything for anybody else. Like that is not the vibe for me. But as I was looking through her page and she's talking about travel and lifestyle, I started to feel something that I hadn't felt in those 8 days. And I started to dream again. And I was like, I wish I could take my dad here. I would like to go here. I'd love to take my kids there. And I'm a traveler. Last year, I traveled 10 times in 12 months. And that was just out of pocket. So I'm thinking to myself, man, like I would love to be able to not only because I've had so many people ask me, how are you doing? And I'm like, I just pay for it, right? But to be able to give people the opportunity to do this, to be able to travel, and even if it's just traveling with your husband for a weekend in the town over, but just to be able to give people that outlet. So I dug in and I actually didn't do much the first couple of weeks because my dad, I was faced with almost losing my dad. So I was like, here's my credit card, I'll be back. So yeah, so then after that, the rest was history. It's such a beautiful platform. And not only the platform, but when you're surrounded with humans that understand you, that think like you, that move like you, that dream like you're forced to level up your thinking. And the conversations, we were all together and it was so good. It was such a vibe. And I was not looking for a community. I have my friends, I have my family. I told Jen when I was like, listen, I'm here to start a business. I'm not looking for friends. So I'll head back. Jen, am I lying? I'll head back to the room a little bit early. I'm just gonna do my thing. I was like, Sylvia, can I be your roommate? So how did this happen? I was like, I think there was something in my room. Can I just go sleep with you? So, when you're around the right people, your your walls just drop and you
Yep.
start seeing like, dang, look, what we have here is special. Being in the forefront, just the opportunity materially to be able to grow this, be the first in North America, not worried about products, transformation, shipping. I'm not at that point in my life I was before. I don't want to worry about that stuff. I can't. I built a life where I know what I want now and I know what I don't want. And what I want is what I've been doing for the last 2 years. And that's what this business is. So it was in full alignment with what I wanted. So I was like, all right, let's do it. So here we are.
I love it. I love that you talk about like loving to travel. Well, and Heather, you too. But I was talking to Brenda earlier, and she's like, "Yeah, the trip I booked solo to Aruba. Is that where you went?" And I'm like, "Okay, dang, that's next level because I've traveled a lot, but I've never traveled by myself to another country. I've always like taken friends or business partners or things like that. So I think that that's just powerful in itself. And I guess, Heather, like, what would you say to the person who is like, okay, you're saying like, I'm on a plane every week, or, I love this stuff. What would you say to the person who's like, yeah, I just don't travel that much, or I don't want to travel that much. I'm a homebody.
Who doesn't want to travel that much? Anyway, no, I'm like, okay, all right, girl, you don't want it. Don't be silly. What's that movie? Don't be silly. Everybody wants this. So I think it's like, what is it? Devil Wears Prada. Don't be silly, Alexandra. Everybody wants this. And I'm like, yes, they do. So I mean, it's really, we have activities on the app. There's a mall on the app. We have, like I just said, my cousin is on a staycation in a hotel that she wouldn't normally stay at. It actually gave her time with her husband that she wasn't planning on, she's like, what are we going to do? Okay. An Uber will cost more to get down there. Let's just get a hotel. I'll drive down there. Now they're having Aperol spritzes on a rooftop in their hometown, just connecting, and they're out of their environment. And I don't know about you guys, but if I'm out of my environment and I'm actually talking to somebody, I'm listening more. I don't know why. When you're in your living room, you're looking at the dog toys on the floor. This is actually happening over here. The dog toys on the floor, the readers are there, the blankets unfolded, and you're like, yeah, okay, honey, whatever. But that's really it. And then the other thing, when I was listening to Brenda too, it's like, yeah, we have worked really hard to get to the space where we can travel 10 months out of the year or whatever it is, and Jen, I'm sure Sylvia, you feel the same way too. but this drops that barrier to entry. And there's a lot of travel apps out there. Okay. But this is a high end travel space. I don't want to scare you or anything, but it is. These trips are next level. We went to Spain, blew me away. The Dubai trip I'm taking, where I don't know if all of you are going. I know Jen is. Brenda, I think you're going too. Sylvia, you better be going. So it's next level, high end, but for $698, you're going to a high end trip. So it drops the barrier to entry, not to mention, like, okay, fine, now I have to pay a membership, and everybody's like, oh, but the membership and the membership, and I have to pay another monthly bill. Okay, get 3 people to travel with you, and then it's auto financed. Even if you stop there and take the trips, fine. It doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if you bring in a customer or an ambassador. Both of those people count towards auto financing your membership. So if you come in on the biggest package, okay, even if it costs you $588, which I saved 836 on my first booking. Okay. So paid, done, even made 200 and whatever on it because, apples to apples here. But then you come in and you get 3 people and that's all you've ever spent. And then at the end of the year, you have 3,000 travel points, which is equal to dollars. They zero out any one of the life experiences with those 3,000 points, and you can take it for 2 people. So even if you just did that, like stop there. Even if you don't want to make millions with us and be the first in the market and, take over the world and be in the Miami theater, whatever Jen and I talked about wherever we're going, right?
American Airlines Arena.
Yeah, there you go.
Yes,
Thank
girl,
you so
yeah.
much. Brain is not braining. I've been talking about this all day, which I can, and that's another thing. I can talk about this all day
Yeah.
and still get stinking excited, you know? So anyway, even if you stop there, you have to do it. Like there is no reason to say no. There is absolutely no reason to say no. You want to go on a staycation, you want to buy a Gucci bag, you want to, go, it's for real, like the cutest pink Gucci bag on this site. Okay, you guys got to go see it. But then also, sometimes I sound like a snot, like, oh, the cutest Gucci bag. And don't be silly, everybody wants this. And Brenda's like, yes, I have high standards. I'm like, okay, maybe we need to dial it
How we all
down a
get
little
along.
bit. No.
Oh, but, hey.
I'm like, but seriously, like if I could really paint the picture, if you're looking at celebrities, if you're looking at this, if you want any of that lifestyle, my lifestyle, or even just this much more, this just drops the wall and anybody can come in and get that, even if it's paid for every month and you never have a personal volume requirement ever again. And you can take your time and build a business and you can take your time and bring in customers and get paid on that while you're going on these crazy trips. So anyway, my 2 cents.
I think it's like increasing your vision, right? Like for the person who says like, I don't want to travel. Well, that doesn't mean you have to travel to Dubai, but do you want to have that time that you don't get with your husband? Or do you want to take your kids, to Disneyland and just can't afford it? Or even taking your kids over to, to the cheer mom or the basketball mom or the,
That's a good point.
like
There's a lot of baseball
sports
moms and
is
cheer
like, I
moms.
have to go, and that stuff's expensive. Like I have kids who have been in sports, so I think like casting that vision of like this is possible for anyone, and maybe you don't see it for yourself yet, but that's you're here to steal our belief.
You know what I would be cool for your audience to do underneath this live is to drop a wish. Like drop a wish in the comments. Like, I wish I could go on more dates with my husband. I wish I could take my mother to Greece because that's where we're from. I wish I could take my kids to a theme park. I wish I could, afford to go on little excursions every weekend, even if it's in my hometown. Drop a wish. I wish I could afford to have my son in travel baseball, but I can't. Drop a wish and we can show you how to make those wishes real.
Yeah, love that. Love that. Love that. Okay, Jen, I would love for you to touch on, because Heather had brought up your vision for filling the American Arena. Like, what does that mean to you?
I mean, so I wasn't going to do this unless I go big or go home. I mean, I got big hair. I should have been from Texas. Like, to me, it's like, you don't say yes if you don't go all in and hard. For me, that's just, I didn't want to do this again if I wasn't actually going to go all in on all the families that hitch their wagon to me, because I believe I'm leaving it all on the mat and then going for it. So for when Heather and I sat in Spain in this room, when it was funny, the trip was magical, all the things, but one of the best days we sat in our pajamas in her hotel room and we sat there and dreamed, and it was like we both had the same vision of 19, it was like 19,000 families. For whatever reason, we both saw this, and I'm like, that's our mission. It's to help this many families feel free, because there's 48,000 companies online that are selling products or whatever, and I'm like, well, just 19,000 of them that want to live in reverse, like instead of selling the thing, go live your life, and that's the actual product. And we just were like, I can't even imagine. There's so many people that this will free of that idea that they've been in the matrix of just work to go and work to do this. Instead, I love that we are all saying staycation. I did an activity with my kids, and we used those points that we got 4,000 travel points to then book our anniversary night out with my husband. So not only did we save on a hotel, we then used the points we got from the previous trip, and the app just gets better. So I can just see a stadium full of families that are now like, I said yes because I wanted to launch North America, Canada and the US, and I wanted to live my life again. I wanted to go to Newport Beach on a boat and see the dolphins, hopping. I wanted to go on, we dreamed of going on a helicopter tour with our kids, and I never would have thought that was possible, but it was so doable. We got a private helicopter from our app, and then we got extra points for doing it. So it's like, that to me is, we are making wishes real for families, and if they can just really help themselves just say yes and have a little faith and then take the daily steps, they are going to have a life change and I just think it's fill an arena with people who want to dream again, live again, and change the matrix of how this has been done for years, that they don't have to be stuck that way.
There's one thing that I want to say about what you, just to add on to that real quick. I get so excited when I'm around you guys. I can't shut up. Like I have all these ideas. I get chills every time each one of you is talking. Like I don't understand it, but I'm not going to try to understand. I'm just going to let it flow. Let it come in. Anyway, so in the audience, how many of you, because we're all, we've all been to the top of companies, we've had multiple streams, we've done things. We've been coaches for a long time. In the audience though, how many of you have waited months, even years, and been loyal to a certain entity, company, business model, whatever, asked the people that are at the forefront, whether it be a corporate person, an owner, whatever, and it takes years, months, you're asking for things. It's a maybe, it's a I don't know, it's a this, it's a that. So one really cool thing, that arena is going to get booked. And I know it because they keep saying it. The corporate team keeps saying it. And then the other thing is, we've been here for like really building since maybe a couple of weeks after Spain. And then, so 8 weeks. I'm going to say 8 weeks. I'm going to go longer than what I think it is. And, they book these trips based on where the people are. And it's North America, right? So I don't know if you guys know how long it takes to curate trips for 500 people, 300 people, 100 people. Okay. But we just launched Hawaii, that we've all been asking for. It's only been 8 weeks. They planned it, booked it, have the hotel, have all of it. They just launched cruises because the Canadians have been asking for cruises, like you would, like, where are the cruises? I don't know where the cruises are, but we better have some cruises. Okay, I love my Canadians. We have a huge Canadian build going on right now, but we have an amazing cruise package on our lifestyle experiences, and it speaks volumes to who we're working with, not just what we're doing and that we can do it because of who we are, but the support that we have and how fast this is actually going. And if you are a high level like entrepreneur, or you've been in network marketing or whatever it is, and you've had these experiences before, just know that this is going faster than we all might be able to keep up with. And they're keeping up with us, which is insane. So I really wanted to drive that home, Sylvia, because I know you know a lot of high level people. I know you know a lot of people who like to take care of their teams and who know what it takes to have that, launching a new market. I've heard a lot of people say, like, I don't know if I have it in me again. How many of you felt that? I don't know if I have it in me again. Jen said it, like, I don't know if this is gonna, Brenda, I'm sure you felt that too. You're like, oh God, here we go. But here it is, right? And it's just been, and of course there's things that we need to do as we're launching a market, but it's just been the easiest build I've ever had because I know that if my voice is heard, the trips prove it. Like Hawaii cruises, we're done. Like it's lights out. Wait till next year. You're going to see it and you're going to be like, holy heck, what did these girls do here in North America? How did this happen? And why wasn't I there? So, okay, I'm going to shut up. Did I
I
have
love that.
coffee or
So
something? What happened? It's you guys. You guys give me so much energy.
I know that's exactly what I felt when I hopped on with you ladies. I was like, oh my God, like this is exactly what I was looking for. And I love that you bring up like the timing, right? And so, I mean, we'll start to close up here, but I would just love to hear from each of you because I do think that like you are the sum of the top 5 people that you surround yourself with, right? And so even just speaking to the stay-at-home mom who wants to earn an extra income, or the family who's struggling on an income and maybe doesn't have that belief, it's easy for us to see that the huge massive potential here. And Jen, you had mentioned, and well, Brenda, you were like, I didn't need an extra income, I already had built other things, right? But you saw that there was something special in this. Did I just say Brenda, or did I just I totally lost. Brenda was saying that she didn't need an extra income.
Yeah.
Jen, you said that you were, you had written down like 2 million a year. I thought that was crazy because I've been writing literally for like the last year and a half. I'm earning, but it was writing my goals out and affirmations out that completely transformed my life. Going from an 8th grade dropout, teen mom, kind of went through school, became a massage therapist for a long time. And then I was just a stay-at-home mom. I don't say just because I was taking care of children.
We're like, don't say
I'm
just.
looking at my teenager.
Yeah.
But, I had deeper desires and I was like, this is not like, I want something more for myself. And I didn't believe it was possible. And then when I started to actually write my goals, when I started to like speak them every day and get in that energy of like, you know what, if I'm going to just commit to myself that this is possible for me. And it took literally 2 years of me just writing consistently. And that's coming from like heavy, deep brokenness and trauma, heavy, heavy, heavy stuff. But 2 years of me writing those affirmations and writing that I was earning 6 figures a month. I had my first 6-figure a month paycheck almost to the date. Okay. And so I just say that because anybody who is watching or comes back to watch the replay, I want them to know, like, we're talking about these numbers because we've seen what's possible for ourselves, not because it was handed to us, not because, poof, we were just magically earning that kind of income. And maybe it's not somebody's goal to earn that kind of income. That's okay. If your goal is just to earn an extra 2,000 a month, if your goal is to earn an extra 500 a month, if your goal is to earn an extra 10,000 a month, if your goal is even bigger than that, I believe that the energy is contagious, And so when you lock arms with people who they're like, yeah, like I'm going to crush this, I'm running after this dream that I have for myself, you begin to become inspired. You begin to be like, okay, wait, maybe I could do that too. Maybe if Jen is doing this, maybe I could do that. Maybe if Brenda is going on a solo trip by herself, maybe I could do that, maybe if Heather's traveling every week, maybe I could do that. Like, why not? Why can't you? So to that, I would just love for you guys to just give a quick to like close it up. Number one, in your experience, because like I said, we have a combined 52 years experience in this industry, but in your guys' experience, why is the timing like so powerful right now versus 6 months from now? And then the second would be, what is your advice to the person who's, just kind of sitting on this? It's summertime. People are traveling. We could have saved them a bunch of money. By the way, I see all of my friends, like they're over in Italy, they're over in Hawaii, they're over in Greece, they're over here. And I'm like, dang it. I wish I would have known you all were planning that trip. But so number one, what is in your experience, what is the timing? Why is the timing so powerful right now versus 6 months from now? And then what is your advice to the person who's just kind of sitting on this and thinking like, oh, I'll just wait till summer ends. So can each of you just share a little bit and then we can
Go first on this one because there's a couple things that I'd written down that we haven't touched on, and I know you're not really getting into numbers and things like that, but one of the things that I feel like is so important with timing is that, and this might be foreign to some of you guys, but our volume does not flush. So the work that you're putting in now, even if you're like, I can't right now, I have so much going on. If you hold your position, anything that Sylvia, and if you know Sylvia, you know what she can do. And not only Sylvia, but you're in all of our organizations. So if you know any of us, you know what we can do when we have our minds to it, when we're in alignment, when we're fully all in. So even holding your position right now, saying, okay, maybe later you actually would put yourself 6 months behind 6 months later. So for me, the timing is huge. When I was losing, almost on the verge of losing my dad, it was the worst time for me. There's never a good time, you guys. If you keep waiting, there's never a life always happens. It's up to you to take self-responsibility and say, okay, what am I going to do? I know the life I want to live. What am I doing to take the action steps to get there? Don't sit and say, oh, I wish, because if you're not doing anything, those are empty promises that you're telling yourself. And it's all we can do is give you the vehicle that we have that can show you how to get there. The second thing that I thought of is safety. For me, like I told you, I'm super stingy with my time. I have a 24-year-old son. When he was growing up, all I did was I was on my phone. I worked my ass off. There was so much that I missed because I was just I couldn't be there present. So now with my other two, I am like, okay, is this worth my time? Because I know what I lost. So I am not interested in coming into a build where maybe 5 years down the line, it's going to crumble because it's new. Great. High risk, high reward. But also, what if you can have both of them? Our track record here is 12 years, 8 years primarily in travel, 500,000 users internationally, 92% retention rate. The numbers don't lie, the data does not lie. So if you're going to put your all in, your time, which is invaluable, you guys, into something, know that it's safe. Even if you've never done this before and you've tried other things and you're like, oh, I've been in one of those things and it didn't work out. Even what's the worst? You get a vacation paid for at the end of the year. You get exclusive curated. Again, we're going to go back to the word safe. I travel alone. Do you know how much work it took me to plan a trip to make sure it's in an area that I'm safe? Whoever I'm going on the excursion with, they're a safe company. These are all things where you can just go ahead and show up and it's all done for you if you wanted to do it. They've been vetted. We are again safe. That's the word that keeps coming up for me. So I wait. You're shooting yourself in the foot because Sylvia is an absolute powerhouse, you guys. I have gotten the pleasure to just get to know her as a human, and what her view for what she sees is way beyond anything that she's even said on this Zoom. So if I were you, I wouldn't wait. And that's what I have.
Oh my
Love
goodness. You know, I love when you speak and you get this look in your eye. You get this look in your eye, and I'm just like, yes, yes. That's when I started doing one of these. So good. But what really like blew my mind? I'm like, oh my God, we would be anybody who joins Sylvia, we all would be their upline. Like, do you know what? Like, I'm not saying like we're so awesome, we're this. We work our tails off. Do you know what I mean? All of us. I just think that if I had an upline like us going into what I went into, do you know how much faster this would have been? And that's it's a beautiful thing because that volume all just falls right underneath literally everybody. And I wish I could talk more about that, but sometimes I feel like when people or the field looks at leaders like us and they're like, oh, but they probably had this, or they probably had that. I'm going to tell you this right now, and I'm going to be super authentic about this. I am one of those people where if I can do it, you can too. And I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke and tell you like, oh, you can do it too if I got something that you didn't get. Okay. This is the most organic build for each and every person here that you've ever seen in your life. And the bonuses at the front end of it built into the comp plan make all the difference. You see things out there that are promos and it's like, oh, you can make, and I've made a lot of money on those promos. Like you can come in, you can make 20K if you hit this by this, you can do this. This is just built into the comp plan. And I see people that are coming in that have uplines like us, and there's leadership all across the board in every single team. Okay. So this right here is the special sauce, okay, with Sylvia and Brenda and Jen and myself. But also, I see people that have come in with this timing and having that reward in that type of atmosphere and utilizing the compensation plan in the very beginning that's built into it and doing things that they've never done in the industry, who have maybe never recruited anyone or recruited 10 people and then it all crashes down, or you know, the little people, as we say. I hate that. I hate when people call them little people, because I'm like, these are just stars waiting to be born. Because I started at zero. I was just getting a divorce. I had no idea what I was doing. I was showing off one lash and not the other one. I'm like just face naked on the interweb and just doing the best I could, you know. But now you have all these coaches and you're starting maybe at you know, just lessons instead of income. And I have a lot of people that are going gold, going platinum, that are like, oh my God, what is happening? I'm like, that was you did that. You know, the success is here. Anyway, I could go on for hours, and Brenda lit a fire in my, you know what, just now with the look in her eye.
I
So
saw that.
Jen, you go.
No, I saw that too. I was like, I mean, Brenda literally said, you guys said everything as far as timing. I would say to you guys, when Heather and I said yes, it was Nikki still was the first in Canada, then myself and Heather, and now it's almost 1,500 of us that have said yes in the last like around 8 weeks, right? In Canada, and that's Canada and the US, you guys. So just go 50-50, you know? So where would it feel like to be the first person in your city, state, province in the US or Canada that says, I want to launch with these guys? There is a reason that 46 and 7-figure earners have said yes and planted their flag here. That doesn't happen. In 14 years, I've never seen fly-ins where every single top earner walks away in tears and says yes and goes ahead and launches. That just has never happened until now. And now in this opportunity, it's because the company is not a startup, but it feels like a startup because we are here in North America. And like Heather mentioned, the backing of our executive team. I mean, it's unreal. They put together an entire plan with us. We said, this is what we need to launch North America. Okay, we'll do it. They did. I mean, and they have not just said they do it. We need a graphic. It's done. We need a yacht or a boat. It's done. We need a trip to Hawaii. It's there. We know that Americans want to go to Disneyland. It's coming. Like that's where you're at. So if you are somebody who's on the fence, you know, I started, made $17 my first time ever. And I was like, we're going to be rich. So I'm just saying, like, I came from nothing and built this. And so if I can do it now, you guys can do it. It's just a matter of locking arms with those of us who've done it a little bit longer. And we teach you everything we know because it's so fun to us to make rich friends and help you guys have fun doing great stuff with us. So Sylvia, you're amazing. Anyone that locks arms with you, dude, you literally are one of the most phenomenal. When you got on that Zoom that day, I was like, I can't wait to just hang out with you. And
We
so
both said that. Yeah.
everyone was like, we all were like,
Sylvia.
let's all just hang out together. And so if you like this vibe, you guys that you're watching, and you know, like it'd be fun to hang out with each other and go to the beach. Like Sylvia, you're amazing. And so I cannot wait to see, like you've built organizations of thousands and thousands of people. So anyone that locks arms with you and is first in your team is going to be beyond blessed. So I'll take it back to you.
Well, thank you. Thank you guys. I think you're absolutely incredible too. And, you know, I think that at the end of the day, like, the beautiful thing that I see happening here is that everyone is starting over. You know what I mean? Like, I don't see anyone who's like coming and bringing a massive team with them it's literally, like you said, these are 6 and 7-figure earners who stepped away for one reason or another, or maybe got displaced or whatever the case may be. and had to sit for a bit and be like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, Heather, you walked away. Jen, you walked away. Brenda, you were doing your own thing. Me, I have been kind of out for a year and a half, like, just waiting in a holding pattern, right? So I'm starting from ground zero. But the thing is I have the belief in not only this company, not only the product of it being like something that brings people hope and something that brings people freedom, not only freedom to travel, but time freedom, because that is the most important thing you could ever have. That is the most important thing that you could ever spend your money on, is creating memories, because you can't take $1 billion and get 15 minutes back with somebody who you've lost. We can't do it. You know what I mean? Jen, sorry, I'm not trying to make you cry, but those are the things that are valuable to me. And that's why I said yes. That's why I said, heck yes, because not only your guys' energy, not only seeing, and sitting with Yoni, our CEO, and Ilian, our VP, of just like these down to earth, humble people who have this massive vision to help other people. And that to me is something special. That to me is something where I'm like, heck yeah, I want to be a part of that. Heck yeah, I want to lock arms with other women who I can learn from also, because I don't walk around thinking to myself like, oh, I'm some baddie. I just walk around thinking, believe in yourself, Sylvia. Believe in what you've accomplished and believe that you can do it again, right?
I think
And
we're all just our authentic self. And something you said, why these earners are coming here, why these high level earners are coming here, and why, you said all these people aren't bringing teams and stuff like that. So how many times have you guys seen in the industry where one team will just take themselves and plant themselves into the next business? And it's the same, like 6 months down the road. Sorry if your audience doesn't like me swearing. I whispered it. I whispered, so nobody heard that, right? And it's the same thing 6 months down the road, and then they go to another place, and the whole team moves. And it's like, you know what? All of us just said, you know what? We're creating something different and something real, and we're going to teach people how to do it like we do it, and we're going to work together. All of us working together to create something that's completely organic and authentic. And we're not just bringing our team and going somewhere that's going to give us more money. We're going somewhere to create that and make people move into who they really are. And you said it. It was beautiful. So anyway, I needed to make this call longer. I'm so sorry, but
no, it's good. I love it. I love everything that you guys are saying, because it just goes to like, I'm a person who's a straight shooter too, and I don't blow no fluff. I don't hype things up. I do my own due diligence, and like I just saw something incredibly special here that made me say, you need to jump, and the last time that I felt the urge that I needed to jump, it created me a multimillionaire. So yeah. It's like, I trust that gut feeling. And I just think that, anyone who wants to lock arms and be a part of this environment, you are going to get so much out of it. You're going to get so much personal growth. And not only that, I just have to say, like, you guys have been absolutely incredible. Like, every person who has joined with me thus far, you guys are like, what can I do for you? It's servant leadership. It's not like, oh, hey, welcome to the team. Cool. I'm off here on my jet. No, it's like, you guys are working your tails off for every single person who's, becoming a part of this community. And that's something that I truly greatly value. And just see that it's not like, well, who is this person coming in? Are they a big hitter, or are they this or that? It's like, from the person who's never had success to the person who's had 7-figure earning success, they get the same treatment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
So I just appreciate you guys so much for that. And I appreciate you taking the time to hop on with me. Yeah. And I love you guys. I can't wait to see you and hang out and just be in your energy again.
Yes. Invite us back. We have to do this again. I'm sure I have more to say.
Anytime.
Love it. And you guys, if you're on today and your heart just got tugged of whatever capacity, like, now is the time. I love Brenda gave you the, like, this is why, and for the timing, but like, you could not get your questions answered and then get back with Sylvia and get those. I mean, you got to get in position with us. We're going to have so much fun. The trips that are lined up, and or if you just want to save money on the app and book a staycation and do activities locally, you can save money that way. But what an honor to be first in your organization, Sylvia. So thanks for
Thank you.
talking.
Thank you so much. I
Thank
love
you,
you,
ladies.
ladies. Thank you for your time. Have a great weekend. We're on Thursday, right? So we're coming up on the weekend.
Brenda.
And I won't snap or anything like that. Like, it won't get crazy. But you guys, one of the last things that I haven't heard anybody say is that we have no handcuffs here or anything like that. So even if you are with
Love it.
me and just say you want to take your team to Hawaii, you're able to utilize our services here and our benefits to do that. We're not going to suck you from your company or anything like that. You're more than welcome to come and play with us here. There's no handcuffs, there's no non-competes, there's nothing like that. So that was one of the things that haven't been touched on, because don't feel like you automatically move your entire team or anything like that. If you want to come play, you're more than welcome to do that. The final thing is that we are committed, all of us, to building this different, building this with class and building this with integrity. So if you do decide to do that, just know that we are committing to you that your team is safe and that this is different. And we really want to make waves doing it like this. So that's all I have to add.
I'm sorry, that was a little like this. I felt like doing it, but I'm like, I'm gonna keep my hand down. I want her to keep going. That was great. That was really
I
great.
love it. Yeah, 100% that you touched on, Brenda. I'm really glad that you did, because I mean, I see the value in just being a customer. Had I had this tool, I would have saved so much money, much money, helping my team, helping, people get to events, helping to pay for people's hotels, helping to pay for people's airline tickets. Like, it's just mind blowing. Yeah. It's amazing. So I love you guys. Thank you so much for taking the time today to be on here. And I will see you guys soon.
Bye, everybody.
Bye,
Thank
you guys.
you. Thank you so much.
Bye.